Have you played Everdell board game? The game with big 3D trees in the center? Or also Photosynthesis, also a game with trees. In this video, I'll talk about both games and stay tuned until the end where we have designer of Everdell, James Wilson, giving you tips and strategies how to play and win the game Everdell. Coming up. Hi everyone, hope you're well. It's Stella from Meeple University. Welcome back to my weekly tabletop diary. Our passion here is to bring you a variety of quality board game videos. On our channel, we do a lot of overview, how to play, playthrough, and vlog just like this one. So if you're new here, I'm glad that you found us. Please consider subscribing to our channel and hit the bell button to be notified when we post new videos. The first game I'd like to share with you my thoughts is Photosynthesis. It's basically an abstract game with action point allowance system where each turn the sun moves, giving light points to certain trees. You earn sunlight depending on a few things such as tree placement and tree size. You got to imagine where the sun is going to be next round and plan for your next trees or seeds purchase and placement. You can also try to block your opponents from getting sun points. Main points though is coming from uprooting your full-grown trees to get lots of points. The artwork and the 3D tree cardboard pieces are so pretty. It's mainly a great game. It's quite simple mechanical placement game, so it allows for deeper strategy. My partner, the other half of Meeple University, really enjoyed Photosynthesis. Unfortunately, I don't, and I only have myself to blame. I really want to like this pretty game, but this is very objective. This is my opinion, so please feel free to disagree. I have a special issue, so I can't really read upside down or try to rotate image or placement in my mind. This game, for the most part, is relying heavily on this element, and I was struggling the whole game trying to imagine where mine or everyone's tree is going to be. Is it a good location? Is it going to receive good sun points? There are a few games with these elements and I know I'm struggling with them, such as Querco and the tile placement for Castles of Mad King Ludwig, and also the tile placement for Feast of Odins. So I know that every time I want to place the tiles, I physically have to take the tiles, put it on my player mat, and then trying to see if the particular tile fits, if that makes sense. So I know that this is completely my fault. I'm just sharing with you games like this I usually struggle with. So if this sounds a little bit familiar, please let me know in the comment sections below. I'd just like to know, am I the only one? Am I the only one that has this special issue where I always struggle with rotating things in my mind? So if you could please share with me your thoughts, I would be really appreciated. Now I want to talk about Everdell. This game has won so many awards. If we have an award category ourselves, we'll probably give one to Everdell. Game is mainly about tableau building, worker placement, set collection, and hand management. You start with placing your worker one at a time, in turn with your opponents to gain resources or cards. You then play a card each turn in front of you if you could, building your city, getting the benefit and making your next action more powerful with it. There are different strategies you can gain, extra points you can score, some you gotta be quick before your opponents get them. The game has some sort of escalation where towards the end of the game, you get more workers you can use. Of course, there is this 3D tree. It's beautiful. You place the draw pile inside the actual tree, the big tree, and other components on or around it. The artwork by Andrew Bosley is amazing. There are so many details on the cards, like each creature has pictures of its home cards in the background and vice versa. I really like Everdell, our group as well. I remember playing Everdell with some friends who at the time were thinking of getting the Pearl Brook expansion that was on Kickstarter a few months ago. They were then convinced to back the game with expansion after playing the base game with us. It's a really fun game. It has interaction between players where you'll be able to use other people's buildings, so you got to watch what others are building. But that could also be just a small downside where you have to make sure you remember all of your combo action with the building that you built, and also other people's building at times. With most other tableau building games, this has got that element as well, where you have to watch out what everyone's got and what we've got, just to make sure that you don't miss it. But all in all, we really like the game. We played a few times already now. It's a great fun game. We can't wait to try Everdell Pearlbrook expansion. Hopefully it's coming out soon. Now we have James Wilson, the designer of Everdell. They'll give you tips and strategy how to play and win the game.
Hi, I'm James Wilson. I am the designer of Everdell, here to share some tips and strategy with you. Everdell is a worker placement game that is also combined with a card comboing tableau building game. You will be competing to build the best little woodland city over the course of a year in the Valley of Everdell. Like a lot of worker placement games and card comboing engine games, you want to figure out some way to have a system or an engine going for you pretty early in the game that's going to work for you as the game progresses. Obviously, you can get resources by placing your workers out into certain areas and gathering twigs or resin or whatever you need there. But if you build the right cards in your city, they're going to essentially do that job for you. So that would be tip number one, is to try and get an engine going pretty early within the game. There's a couple different ways to do this. The most common way is by using the green production cards, which will continue to produce for you during production, and those are great. Another way, though, that some players don't grasp quite as quickly is the blue cards. The blue cards are governance cards, and they will work for you as you work. So as you do something, they are going to do something for you in return, and these can be very powerful and very useful. And some sort of combination of both of these cards pretty early on can really help you as the game progresses. So get an engine going, some form of it, as quickly as you can is usually a good idea. Also, don't be afraid to discard cards from your hand. Now, you have a strict hand limit of only 8 cards, and it can be hard to want to get rid of some of them because you feel like you need to build them or you want to build them. But in some cases, it may be better to go ahead and do that. There are locations like Haven or some of the other forest locations where you can discard cards to get resources back, or sometimes you can go to the post office and discard cards to draw a whole bunch of new cards. And this can really help you when you find some new options to have some combos and some systems that will work. So don't be afraid to get rid of some cards out of your hand to see some new cards and some new things that come up that could be helpful for you. The special events are something you should pay attention to in each of the games, and they're going to be different every single time. These can sometimes be hard to achieve because they require specific cards to achieve them. However, they can also be very powerful as far as points, and some of them even give you a special bonus when you achieve them. You should definitely pay attention to them and try to achieve them if you can. But if you can't, then you should also be okay passing on them and going after a different strategy, because you can get too locked into them sometimes and feel like you just have to achieve them because you have one card toward them, and you'll miss another potential strategy that you could pursue and that you could do. You should really also pay attention to the purple prosperity cards in the game. These can score some big points for you in the end, and that's typically the time when you're going to really be wanting to hunt for them and play them. Sometimes earlier is good too, because you'll know how to build on them and maximize them. But if you find that you've been playing a lot of, say, common critters, for example, and the school is available, it might really be worth your time to pursue playing that school into your city, and then maybe building a couple more common critters to maximize on it. These purple cards can give you a tremendous amount of points, and you should definitely try and go after them. Finally, don't be afraid to explore the system and to explore the game. There's a lot of cards that work in ways that are not clear from the very beginning. Some of these cards are like the ruins and the university and the dungeon and the cemetery. Some of these type of cards that sometimes I'll see players just pass on them because it seems complicated. They're not quite sure how they work. When you're comfortable and familiar with the game, if you haven't already, explore these cards and see what they can do for you. Every single card has a purpose or multiple purposes and things that it can do. and learning how to utilize those and work with them can really help you have an advantage. So thank you for listening. I hope that you enjoy your time in Everdell and keep on playing and having fun. Thanks.
Thanks, James, for the tips. We hope that is helpful to you. We have also done videos for Everdell for not only multiplayer rules, but also the solo rules. I have put the link to the descriptions below this video, so if you want to learn how to play the game. Again, if you have any thoughts, feedback, ideas, please share it with me in the comment sections below. Looking forward to see your comments there, as I'll try to get back to you as well as soon as I could. If you like this video, please let us know by clicking the like button. And you can also join a Facebook group, Meeple University Community, to share your love of board game. And finally, if you'd like to be one of the first ones to be notified of our next videos, please subscribe to us and hit the bell button. And you can also click the nipple in the corner. And thank you for watching. Until next week.